Hello everyone, and thanks for joining in today's webinar, Web Services for Travel Agencies. My name is Leandro Gentile and I am the host for this event. I belong to the LAC campaign team. Today we will have a guest speaker expert in web services who will expose all the APIs that can be used by your agency developing, as well as all the APIs that are behind the Sabre Red 360 that can also be used by your agency developing platform. By the end of this event, we hope you can have a better idea of what is the technology that we offer and what is behind our main point of sale, Sabre Red 360, as well as all the tools that Sabre provides you to excel in the travel industry. Before we begin, I would like to give some housekeeping details. First of all the lines have been muted. The idea is to avoid all the background noises. The chat session is already active, so please send your comments or your questions about the presentation through the chat. I will be monitoring it constantly, and I will transmit those questions to the presenter. The session is already being recorded. The idea is to send this recording together with additional material in a follow-up email after the session is ended. And last but not least, you will be prompted to a customer survey satisfaction once you closed WebEx. So I encourage you to please complete that survey that will help us develop our webinars day by day. Let me introduce you to the presenter. Today we have Cristian Alarcón. He's an expert on web services and APIs. He is a contributor, product, and technology consulting, and who speaks Leandro Gentile. I am from the campaign team. So let me give you to Cristian Alarcón. Hello, Cristian. How are you today?
Hello.
Hello, Cristian.
Hello, Leandro. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay,
let me
thank you.
give you the control.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Cristian, you have the control for the presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm going to share. Please let me know if you can see my screen right now.
It is loading, and now I can see your screen.
Okay, I'm going to share the full screen. So right now, can you see my full screen?
Perfect.
Okay. Okay, can I start right now, right?
Yes, go ahead. Feel free to start.
Okay. Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us to this session. As Leandro mentioned, my name is Cristian Alarcón. I am part of the product and technology consulting team. I'm based in Colombia, and today I have the pleasure to give you some information about our web services, how they currently interact with Sabre Red 360, and also how can you use them in your own agency's website. So let's start with why web services. It is not a secret to us that consumers, or more specifically our customers, are more informed than ever. In some cases, customers search up to 32 different sites before making a purchase decision. They look for different alternatives, different prices, different brands, etc. And our solutions enable your consultants to be experts in selling air, offering the best choice for the travelers, avoiding a lot of time when looking for alternatives with different carriers, different schedules, and stuff. We have a bunch of options when talking about the industry. Within Sabre, you can find web services to cover all type of segments that you might sell. For example, we have air APIs or web services, hotel and car web services, inspirational and intelligence APIs or web services, among others. The Sabre platform, or as you know, our Sabre Red 360 is constructed to make our capabilities consumable through either standard APIs or web services or standard applications. We have built our own solutions on this platform, consuming the same web services or the same APIs that can be utilized to create custom applications. So you can choose to utilize our standard solutions, for example, our point of sale, Sabre Red 360, or our traveler experience tool, Tripcase, or our corporate booking tool, Get There. Or if the standard solution don't meet the needs for your business, you can create your own customized point of sale or your own traveler experience tool or your own corporate booking tool, leveraging capabilities from Sabre available through web services and supplementing them with capabilities you develop in-house. Okay, in this image, we have all the web services or APIs included in a single search. This image demonstrates how Sabre Red 360 uses our own web services to show you the best content in the industry. This is a little part of our functionalities, and it shows Travel Insight Engine APIs in our decision support bar to show you market trends and information about the single response, such as the price and options, about branding, baggage included or not, and also quick access to things like fair rules, week rules, and information about fair rules, and allows you to combine steps like sell and save price at once. So if you want to show the same information in your website, but not this way, you can use each one of these web services to build your own website. So this is for you to understand how we are using the same web services that are available for you to build your own website if you're interested in build your own point of sale or your own website. So before I continue, I would like to know if there is a question in the chat panel, Leandro.
Christian, only one question came. It is, and you already explained it already. The question was in regards of the services, if they can be customized by the travel agency, or they can be used in different developments.
Yes, the answer is yes. You can use the image I showed before. This one is that was for you to understand that we use our APIs to build our own platform, but all of these APIs are currently available in our site for you to use in your own developments.
Perfect. Thank you, Christian. That was the question.
Okay, so let's continue. We are going to talk about the best functionalities for search options for you to know more about them, and also to discover how can you save part of these web services. So we're going to start with a search option and these three questions. So can I customize my searches? And the answer is yes with Bargain Finder Max. Don't worry, we're going to talk about of each one in this presentation. So the second one is, can I look for alternative days to offer different options? And the answer is absolutely yes with alternate date, Bargain Finder Max alternate date API. And the last one is, can I search by rates when applicable and available? And the answer is yes, again, with Shop by Specific Fare API. So let's start talking more about Bargain Finder Max and its main functionalities. The main idea is allow you to power new ways to market, shop, and convert lookers to bookers by using the main functionalities of Bargain Finder Max. When a single request made to Bargain Finder Max, the API or the web services will respond you with a lot of information that you can be used to show in your website. And this information is currently available in Sabre Red 360. It's the same information of the image I show you with some of the information that I talked about when I show the image about the APIs that Sabre Red 360 used. So if you make a request to Bargain Finder Max, you are going to receive information about change fee and refundability to show your customer how might they pay if they want to make a change before they purchase. Multiple fares per itinerary. For example, if you have three different negotiated rates with the same airline, you can ask Bargain Finder Max to return information about all of these fares in your website, so you can compare. You can show your customers all of these fares at once. Information about long connection. If you want to allow your customers to make searches or make shopping requests with long connection times to get the cheapest fare with long connection times in their itineraries. We are going to get information about air extras, about baggage fees, branded fares. We can filter by our preferred or by the customer's preferred airline, and also we can use the functionality of multi-ticket. That is, your customer can choose if it's cheaper to buy two one-ways in one itinerary and then to issue two different tickets than buy just one round trip itinerary. And everything of this ends on efficiently, accuracy, speed, and diversity. So how can Bargain Finder Max help? It will allow you to search for the lowest available price itinerary based upon a specific day by applying the filters or the main functionalities that I mentioned before. And you know that air shopping is complex when you consider the schedule fares, permutation available from an origin to destination. Sabre takes a unique approach by combining a fare-led and schedule-led approach to solve for the complexity. We're going to start with the schedule-led. With the schedule-led, we start with the schedules, then with fares, that provides a highly customized solution set with good schedule, quality, and diversity, and then we price the itineraries. With fare-led, we start with fares, then schedules which generate a large number of options at or close the absolute lowest fare. And by combining the strength of both approaches, we offer the absolute lowest fare, a good schedule quality and diversity, and highly customizable response set. And to maintain the best class in service air shopping capabilities, Sabre is continuously investing in core shopping performance. So it is we are going to apply, or we are applying over day over day different enhance to our tools to maintain them in the best class air solution. And with this slide, we want you to know more about how we handle content or how we handle this content. So we handle 63 billion of options on a specific day to travel between New York and London. We process 123 billion of air shopping requests annually, and the 65% of Sabre content offers an air extra or branded fares in the response when you make a request to this specific API. Also, since 2017, we have worked on reducing the response time from 2.3 seconds to 1.7 seconds, which represents a better quality in our APIs. And Sabre finds the lowest fare 10% more often than our competitors. Okay, we're going to talk about now about alternate dates API. This is part of a Bargain Finder Max, but it's like a different APIs to make a specific request to the host to get information about alternate dates. So with alternate date API, the idea is to avoid looking for alternatives day over day to offer the best fare available. So you can use alternate date to show a calendar if you want. You can show a calendar based upon plus or minus 1 or plus or minus 3 or plus or minus 7 alternate dates. So we are going to avoid looking for alternatives day over day with a lot of formats in Sabre or with a lot of ways to search in a website with these specific APIs. And here is just an example to show you how Sabre Red 360 uses this functionality. So in the left desktop computer, we can see how you can use the information about alternate dates within Sabre Red 360. This is the Sabre Red 360 view. And in the right side of the screen, you can see how you can show this the same information in your own website. This is just an example because you have a lot of options or a lot of alternatives to show this information in your website. It depends on you. Okay, the shop by specific fare API. With this API, the idea is to avoid multiple dates to see if a fare is applicable or not. With some specific parameters, the web service returns information about applicable dates, and you will be able to see up to 90 days for the departure and up to 60 days for the return. So it is easier to use this, and it is going to be helpful because a traditional travel agents for when it's trying to get information about fares, the agent try to look for alternatives in the system day over day, and you have some specific parameters. You would like to know if a specific fare apply in different dates, but you can or you don't know how to get this information. So the trend is to go to the system and search for alternatives day over day, and it is going to take a while when you are trying to do this. So with this API or with this functionality, because it is included in Sabre Red 360, you will going to avoid doing this. So this is an example again, or in the left is the how Sabre Red 360 uses this API, and in the right you are going to see the how can you show this the same information that Sabre Red 360 is showing, but in your own point of sale, in your own online point of sale, or in your own agency website. Okay, before we continue, Leandro, I would like to know if there is a question or there is a question.
Yes, but I believe that you're gonna be talking about this in the future of the presentation. Is related where they can find all these APIs, where they can download them or start using them.
Okay. Okay, yes, we are going to talk more about this at the end of this presentation, but absolutely, we have a specific site for you to download this information, to have access to all of the documentation and example of how to develop, also a demo gallery with videos, etc. But we are going to talk in detail at the end of this presentation, so don't worry.
Perfect. Thank you, Christian.
Okay, now we're going to talk about our travel insight engine. So to power radical new ways to search and shop, we have invested significantly in our travel insight engine. But what is the travel insight engine? The insight engine basically is a big data warehouse with 3 years of booked data. It's kind of a database where we stored information about bucket data such as um, information, pre-computed information about itineraries in a shopping cache, as well as derivative data such as fare range. I'm going to explain more a little bit. I'm going to explain more about this with each of one of the APIs we have that are powered by our Travel Insight engine. So let's review some of our main APIs or web services powered by the Travel Insight engine, and we're going to start with these 3 questions. I know that you all know the answer already, so but we're going to continue. So the first one is I know where and when, but I need to see options to travel, so we can do that with InstaFlight Search API. So the second one is what is the cheapest day to travel? To know or to discover that, I would recommend to use a lead price calendar. And the final one is I want to go somewhere, but I don't know where. And for that, you can use the Destination Finder API. So we're going to start with InstaFlight Search. InstaFlight Search basically will allow you to make a round-trip flight itinerary searches with specific dates and destinations. So the idea is to get faster responses by avoiding the 3-4 seconds took when requesting directly to host. So as I mentioned before, this is the information that uses InstaFlight Search is like a database, so it's easier to consume from this database rather than in the host directly. The lead price calendar API will allow you to search for lower rates up to 192 days or 6 months in the future for a defined destination and travel duration. So you can show these APIs in your website like bars. So in each one of these bars, you can show information about the date and the fare applicable for each one or for each date. And with this, you can show like a forecast of fares in the future because it's like the behavior of the fare up to 192 days. And with Destination Finder, we will be able to search for the lowest fares to various destinations, either by price or a specific subject. It will not be necessary to know the city pair because we are familiar to search information with knowing city pairs. For example, Mexico to Miami or Mexico to Aruba. But with this, it will not be necessary because we can look for alternatives, for example, from Bogota. I'm in Bogota. I'm based in Bogota, and we would like to search for information from Bogota to the Caribbean. This is like a new trend, and your customers will be able to search this way. If they don't know where to travel or something like that. And here we have some examples from Sabre Red 360. So in the desktop computer, we have the response of Destination Finder. So remember that we are trying to look for alternatives from Bogota to the Caribbean. So we have here a bunch of options. I can travel to San Andres, Cancun, Aruba, Curacao, Punta Cana, among others. And in the laptop or the right part of the screen, we have the lead price calendar. This is a way, just one way to show this in your website. And I don't know if any of you know our low fare calendar API. If the answer is yes, that API uses the lead price calendar API behind the scenes to show you the information about the fare trends in the future. Okay, talking about intelligent search, we have these two questions. What price are others paying? And we can get this information with fair range, and when is a high season or medium season in my trip destination, and we can discover this with the travel seasonality API. So here is the first one. So fair range gives you the possibility to see up to 4 weeks prior to the issuance and see the fare trends for a destination. I mean, you will be able to show how much have others paid to show the option as a deal. So if we look at our screen example, we have the flight options, the list of flight options, but we have a yellow banner in the top part of the screen. So it is kind of a deal to encourage your customer, this banner is to encourage your customer uh, to accelerate the sale, because it is showing information about how much have others paid. So these options are starting from 999. So the information here in the banner says that other people pay $80 more in the last month. So the option maybe were over $100. So it is a way to encourage your customer to make a purchase decision quickly. And with travel seasonality, you will be able to show when it's low, medium, or high season in a specific destination for those travelers that prefer to travel in one specific season rather than in other. So you can show this information as parts as well as the low fare calendar, but this information is related to a seasonality or season when it's high, low, or medium season in a specific destination. So because we have some customers that prefers I don't know, travel in low season rather than in high season. And we have here some examples from a Sabre Red 360 and our decision support bar. We have here the widgets or the applications that are powered by the APIs of Travel Insight Engine. So we have in the laptop, in the right part of the screen, we have some bigger examples. So in the first one, we have the Fair Trend. This is an API powered by Travel Insight Engine. We have the travel seasonality, so we can easily know here when is low, medium, or high season. And we have the final in here in this specific example, we have a like another way to show the fair range API. So here's like a bar, and the information about how have other paid for the same route is similar to the example I showed before. So before we continue, is there any questions so far?
Christian, I have one question in regards of all the APIs, right? The question is do we need to integrate into our website, or can we simply use the Sabre Red 360 platform?
It depends on you because you can. It is not mandatory to for use this in Sabre Red 360 that you use the same APIs to develop your own website. No, it is not mandatory. If you are not interested in develop your website right now, you can use all of these functionalities I have been talking about uh, just in Sabre Red 360.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Christian.
Okay, so let's continue with this one. There are some specific functionalities or some APIs or web services that are included in Sabre Red 360, and there are some that are exclusives for websites. And we're going to talk about one of them, that is FareNabber. And FareNabber basically is web services or an API that allow your customer to make a subscription service for a price flight option. It allows the customer to set specific subscription search parameters such as origin, destination, date range, passenger type, number of passenger, minimum and maximum price. And once the parameters meet the criteria, results are pushed to the customer to take action. I mean, you can use these APIs to create a button in your website. And here we are encouraging our customer to subscribe for price alert. The customer is going to ask to fill this form out with specific parameters, the departure and arrival destination, preferred airlines. There are some mandatory fields, and there are others that are optional. So this is just an example, but once the customer click on subscribe, FareNabber will create a subscription, and when the information of the parameters match the criteria, a notification will be sent to the agency, and the agency can handle this notification for, I mean, send after this information to the final customer. Okay. So with Sabre, you will find ways to simplify the complexity of travel with simplified workflows to build an end-to-end solution, starting with the consumption of three uh, simple APIs that are a Brag and Finder Max for searches, create passenger name record to create the reservation once the passenger choose the option within the itinerary, and finally the enhancer ticket API or web services to issue the ticket. And we support different technologies, REST with JSON communication protocol, and SOAP with XML, and also different API consumption such as sessionless or session-based. This is kind of a specific technical information, but it's for you to know that we have a bunch of options, and you can decide if you don't want to follow this recommended workflow. You have different alternatives to make your own development. This is just a recommendation. Okay, we are going to stop talking off air, and we are going to talk a little bit more about our lodging and ground web services with content services for lodging. This is our yes recently released about our hotel APIs, and basically content services for lodging is a set of APIs that allow you to have more content by integrating more than 1 million hosting options and GDS rates. These APIs aggregate sources such as Booking.com, Beds Online, and Expedia Partner Solutions, and it uses modern and more flexible APIs, allowing you to compare rates from different sources such as if you want to get different information from, or the same information but with different aggregators such as the Booking.com and Bets Online and things like that. So these APIs are available right now, but please keep in mind that the use of aggregators, we're just going to make the APIs available, but the negotiation or the contractual part of the negotiation will be handled by the agency directly with the aggregator, such as nowadays. But for the use of these APIs, you will need to have a credential or prior certification process, and this information we're going to make like a through walking with you if you consider it necessary to guide you on how to get the negotiation or how to get the contact uh, to uh, show this information in your own website. So right now we have just the APIs available for agencies' website development, and in the future, I think at the end of this year, we are going to start to include the information of content services for lodging in our Sabre Red 360 platform. So this information or these APIs comes with new search and preference capabilities. It offers improved capabilities, allowing new shopping experiences and more efficient workflows. And these modern APIs offers a modern set of SOAP with XML or REST with JSON APIs, taking advantage of improved data structures and support by robust documentation that will be available in our site that we are going to talk more about at the end of the presentation. So today we have over than 285,000 unique properties from 320 change in over 215 countries. And so let's see the change after the release of content services for lodging with the addition of the full inventory from Booking.com, Bets Online, and Expedia, a partner solution. And we're not stopping. We're intending to add more aggregators, but right now you are going to have available these three groups, and they are not just the group because they have a lot of companies associated, so we are going to have a lot of properties to sell when talking about hotel inventory. As you can see here in this slide, we also cover web services to build an end-to-end workflows or of car reservations with our main car web services. This is like an example of how can you follow a workflow to make car reservation in your own website. And these APIs are used as well by Sabre Red 360 in the cars part to make you available or to make you easier the selling of a car in Sabre Red 360. And here to answer the question, and let me finish with talking about a little bit about our Dev Studio. This is the website I was talking to you before. So Dev Studio basically is a web page with a bunch of resources for development or for developers in which you can find different information when you are starting to develop with Sabre. Information about APIs and services, documentation, workflows. If, as I mentioned before, if you don't want to follow the workflow that I show you, you are going to find different examples of workflows that you can use when you are starting to develop your own website. Also, we are going to find a demo gallery with videos and examples about how you can build your with ideas on how you can build a specific application, or how can you build a specific or integrate a specific functionality in your website. This is your place, or mostly your developers' place, to find best practices as well as workflows, as I mentioned before. And your developers also will find API code samples for several different technologies, and there are a lot of different information. And this is like the Bible for the developers, so they will find all of the information they need to start development with Sabre whenever they need. So that was all. Thanks everyone for your participation. So I would like to know before finishing, is there any other question?
Yes, Christian. So just to recall to that question about where can we get the APIs that we are just saw, and many more that are available, is it the same page that you just showed us, Christian, the developer studio?
Yes, absolutely. You can find all of this information in our Sabre Dev Studio website. The website address is the one that I am showing you in this slide, and you can go to this site. It's easier for you to start by creating an account, and then you can search for documentation. There are some documentation that is available for you to know, like the overview of the API of the information that you are looking for. And there are some private resources, and you will have to have an agreement, a web services agreement with Sabre to have access to this documentation.
Perfect. I have just shared with all the participants the website so they can have it handy. And just to remind them, if they want to have access and if they want to see all the applications and the APIs that we have there, you can get in touch with your account executive, and they can guide you through the process of being able to see this. I don't have any more questions on the chat. I don't know if you have any questions on your side, Christian. Maybe somebody sent you privately a question.
Okay, let me check, please.
And well, we have some minutes before we end the session, so please send us all the questions that you may have. If not, you will have another chance of asking a question once we send the email, the follow-up email with the presentation and with the recording session. If you have a question that you didn't realize during the session, you can send me, you can reply to that email, and we will transmit the question to the Christian, who will gladly reply to you.
Okay. No, I don't have any other question by my side.
Perfect. Perfect, Christian. Okay, if we don't have any more questions or any more comments from you guys, I would like to thank you all for your participation. Thank you for the interest and the questions that you sent today. Christian, thank you very much for the clear presentation. I think it will be very useful for the agency's developers.
No, it's my pleasure, and thanks everyone for joining us.
Okay, thank you, Christian. It was a pleasure. And well, thank you all for participating once again. And after the webinar, before the webinar ends, I'd like to remind you all about the follow-up email that we will send once the presentation ends. And as well, I would like to encourage you to complete the customer satisfaction survey that will be prompted once the session ends. So thank you very much for your participation, and well, we will meet again in our next session. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.